Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Because without you guys and you ladies, you know that this does not work. I'm back, baby. I am back from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And some things just never change. I had an incredible trip, but it's time to get back to work. We got a lot of news. We got a lot of stuff to deal with of our Cowboys that are current. See if any of those are going to be good enough to become Hall of Famers. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm happy to be home because it feels so good. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at, guys. Randy White, Mel Renfro, Cliff Harris, Drew Pearson, Tony Dorsett. I need to get Charlie Waters and Roger Staubach. This truly is a great piece. Pickup truck, Bob Lilly, and Randy White have signed that. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I am so happy to be home and bringing you guys some news on this. Interesting thing. I started posting some of the pictures from last night's Drew Pearson's Hall of Fame party, which was incredible, mind you. It was truly a blessing to be there. And I've got to go back to the dumbass comment of the day, and I'm going to probably get some people that are going to say I'm a hater. But here's an interesting thing. On my Instagram, Dallas Cowboys for Life 2280 said about Drew Pearson. This guy has less than 500 receptions, less than 8,000 yards receiving, and he's a Hall of Famer. Shouldn't be. He's getting here. I swear to God, Tony Romo better get in. Drew Pearson doesn't have Hall of Fame numbers. Was never a Drew Pearson fan. He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. He cried so much. He acted like a baby over the years because he didn't win. It's because you don't deserve it, and I'm a huge Cowboy fan. He doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Well, see, this is where I hate to say that there's a lot of stupid or uneducated people that watch or think that they know about football. First of all, you have to understand that's a different era. Art Shell actually, when we did the Zoom calls, let me know he had 56 interceptions. Back in the 70s, they averaged about 14 passes per game, per team. 14. Not the 40, 50, or 60 like we have sometimes now. So the numbers are different. But I get what you're saying, that he didn't have, that many yards. But you look at Lynn Swann from the same era, who only had 336 receptions for 5,462 yards and 51 touchdowns. You say Drew Pearson doesn't belong in there, you can definitely say Lynn Swann doesn't. You can talk about Paul Warfield. Paul Warfield, okay, 427 passes, 8,500 yards. And you can go down the list because, see, it was a different time. And the thought, because this guy literally went on, it's like Dez Bryant, man, he's a Hall of Famer. Sorry. When you think about Roger Staubach and Drew Pearson, you have the Hail Mary, one of the most iconic plays in the history of football. You got the Super Bowl ring that's right there. You talk about a game changer. And as Roger Staubach said last night, I wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame if it wasn't for him catching those passes. There'd be no Hail Mary without Drew Pearson catching the football. As far as Dez goes, Dez is most famous for the catch no catch, the game in which we were robbed. I'll give you that we were robbed. But you can't compare the guy who got the Hail Mary, the guy that's got the Super Bowl ring, to the guy who's known for the catch no catch. Along with this now, of course, is because that same person is going through, it's like, well, Tony Romo as well as DeMarcus Ware, they'll be in there next. And so should Dez. And I want you to think about this for a second. I want you to think for a second here. If you think Tony Romo should be in the Hall of Fame, then you should also think that Randy White should be in the Hall of Fame. Randy White, leading the Dallas Cowboys offense, had the most yards in any season that they ever had. He went to 3 NFC Championship games. His resume is actually better than Tony Romo's. I'm not saying that Danny White should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but for some of you that think that for some reason Tony Romo is a first ballot Hall of Famer, sorry guys, that's not the case. DeMarcus Ware, maybe, yes. But if the playmaker, Michael Irvin, didn't get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a first ballot, how the hell do you think Tony Romo gets in there as a first ballot Hall of Famer? Sorry, you can label me a hater or whatever you want. I love Tony Romo. But keep in mind, there is 354 players in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The top 354 players in the history of football. Sorry. I'm a Cowboy fan. I'd love to see more Cowboys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Tony Romo's not one of the top 354 players. He's just not. Call me a hater if you want. But just looking at his contemporaries, because this is where the Drew Pearson argument goes. You look at the all-decade team. He was the only one in the all-decade that wasn't in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The only one. When you think of the Hall of Fame, you have to look at it in error. And this is what drives me crazy, because they say Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. He's the GOAT. But I don't know that Tom Brady would be Tom Brady if he had played in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s and getting the crap kicked out of him. He's the best quarterback of his generation right now, with the set of rules that they're playing with right now and not being touched. He's the best unmolested quarterback in the history of football. But I don't think he's playing at 44 years old if he's playing in the 80s. I just don't. And this is where you have to put things in context. Tony Romo was a very good quarterback for the Cowboys. He's got the records for the Cowboys. However, you have to look at his contemporaries. Big Ben is ahead of him. Aaron frickin' Rodgers is way ahead of him. Tom Brady is way ahead of him. Peyton Manning is way ahead of him. And I dare say that him and Phillip Rivers are about the same guy. Oh, and there's also Drew Brees. Do we believe that 8 quarterbacks from that same era are going to go to the... Oh, Eli Manning. I hate to say it, but Eli Manning's higher on the list than Tony Romo. He's got 2 Super Bowls. So do we believe that we're going to have 9 quarterbacks in the Pro Football Hall of Fame from the same era? I don't think so, guys. Call me a hater if you want, okay? But at least understand what you're talking about, you know? Dez Bryant is more deserving of being in the Pro Football Hall of Fame than Drew Pearson. Tony Romo is more deserving of being in the Pro Football Hall of Fame than Drew Pearson. Are you hearing yourself? All right. Got the truck unloaded and piles of shit everywhere, but I'm going to go take me a shower. And I'll see you in our live stream in 2 hours. Peace.